Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon again, folks. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels. We are going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, but before we do the usual disclaimers, as always, I'm sorry for the close up without makeup, but deal with me and my ugly no makeup glory. Ugh, anyways, we're going to try to keep it short and sweet, but you know how it goes on this channel, right? Okay, folks. So, disclaimers. If you are unfamiliar with the Stop the Shocks campaign or the campaign against the troubled teen industry, you're going to find all the pertinent links right there in the description box. Please, in particular, take note of the article written by NeuroClastic, a small non for profit started by autistics for autistics. In it, they interviewed over 900 ABA professionals in regards to the JRC's so called behavior modification program. The Judge Rotenberg Center doesn't want you to read that article so much they threatened NeuroClastic with a defamation lawsuit if they did not remove it from the website. NeuroClastic has refused. Folks, if you could, please read that article. Share it on all your social media. Also included in there is NeuroClastic's public statement regards to the defamation lawsuit threat, as well as a link to their GoFundMe. We are crowdfunding just in case the JRC ever actually does see through with their threat. Trigger warning 1. When we discuss places like the Judge Rotenberg Educational Center or Agape Boarding School for Boys, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips of surveillance footage of people with mental health issues and disabled people being tortured and abused. If you got young children present, please utilize the headphones, all right? Trigger warning 2. This channel is marked not for kids for a reason. We use profanity on occasion and speak on dark subjects. If your child is 16 and younger and they are watching this, very obviously parental supervision is very much advised, all right? All right, folks, where we left off last time. Similarly, the comment emphasizes that tissue damage from an SIBIS reported in reference 20 resembled a bruise rather than a burn. Oh, for fuck's sake, let me explain it to you. Okay. If you receive a burn, in particular the type of burn that may not break the skin, or it does, but it's underneath that first layer of skin. Remember, I grew up around ERs. I have seen some. Okay, yeah, I've seen some weird shit, folks. I have seen some of the weirdest but most bizarre shit on planet Earth by simply sitting in a seat in ER and waiting for either my brother or my mom to get off work. Okay? Just saying. The comment also presents the quotation from reference 7 that use of the GEDs resulted only in an occasional temporary discoloration of the surface of the skin that cleared up in a few minutes or a few days. This quote comes directly from one of the papers that Dr. Matthew Israel wrote himself, and he also wrote himself inside his response to the New York Department of State New York Department of Education, okay? Blah. Can't brain today. You see what I'm saying, right? Like, but it disappeared here. See, it says, and who wrote that? With Dr. Matthew Israel. I don't understand why that's relevant. He's a doctor. Whose school is your child currently in? With Dr. Matthew Israel. And you do not see the conflict of interest here. Well, of course not. Please step away from the Kool-Aid. Okay? Use your heads. There are some times when you receive a burn that as it heals and the skin closes over, while it's continuing to heal, especially if The burn penetrated the first layer of skin into the second or the third, there may be what looks to be a bruise during said healing process. This is not abnormal, nor is it the gotcha that the JRC thinks it is. Especially when you've been around folks who've worked in healthcare for as long as I have, and you've seen the things that different insane injuries that I have while you're waiting for them to get off work in the ER waiting area. Okay? They know this too, folks. This is about as dishonest as it gets. The fact that they even try to use this as a defense that it's not a burn is also insane. You should care that a school has staff intentionally put bruises and burns on your child. The severity doesn't matter. God. The comment also presents a quotation from reference 7 that use of GEDs resulted only in occasional discoloration surface of the skin. Remember, this is a what can be considered a completely disregardable sentence because the study that it was taken from was a study that was done by the JRC, which is why the FDA accorded it no real weight. The only way it could have acquired any form of weight is if it had been replicated by an unattached university research program or hospital of reputable name. Okay? As before, regardless of whether the bruise-like mark and discolorations, which could last for days, were burns or bruises, or both, we consider both to be tissue damage and describe them accurately in the proposed rule as temporary. Thank you. If somebody punches you in the face, yet you are lucky enough for it to not break the skin, but your face bruises, this is tissue damage, kids. If it were not tissue damage, there would not be a bruise. Okay? So, what we're learning for this, we're going to make it a short video, folks, is that first off, the fact that these parents are trying to excuse off by saying it's just discoloration of skin, it's just a bruise, it's not really a burn, so it's not tissue damage. Some of y'all claim to be doctors. If you believe this, you need your medical license ripped away from you and burnt in the ninth circle of hell. All right? Because nobody that stupid needs to be wearing a doctor's coat. Okay? Whether it is a bruise or a burn, it's tissue damage. If you touch it, it hurts. Okay? Number two, the fact that you're okay with excusing occasional bruising. I don't care how severe or how light it is, or if it's just a reg mark that is causing discomfort. That is your goddamn child. Staff are knowingly and on camera putting hands on your child, whether it's being done through that device or literal hands, which we have footage of and DESI reports of. Okay? If you know for a fact that staff is intentionally causing bruises and red marks, on your child or burns, the severity of it shouldn't matter because it only escalates in time as it continues to go unaddressed. Just saying. As before, regardless of whether the bruise-like mark or discoloration could last for days or burns or bruises, we both consider the tissue damage and describe them accurately as temporary. As such, the FDA continues to identify tissue damage or skin burns as risks. I want to know when we became a society that we kind of sat down and decided that there was going to be a different set of rules in regards to human rights for neurotypicals and neurodivergents. I want to know when it was okay in the mind of society for places like this to place marks on children, regardless of the severity. And instead of yanking that kid out, like it would be done in any public high school for a neurotypical teenager, there would be torches and pitchforks, folks. But in schools where it's us, it gets excused away. If that doesn't clearly paint the picture for you as to how society as a whole views people like me, then I don't know what to tell you. We're going to close out on that, folks. We don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. Please don't forget to hit the like button, hit subscribe, and don't forget to hit the comments. I appreciate your time this morning. As always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye bye.